All right, grab your teacup and maybe your popcorn, because this isn't just tea, it's the whole pot boiling over. Harper's Bazaar didn't just stir trouble, they set the kitchen on fire, and Meghan Markle? Oh, honey, she walked straight into the blaze thinking she was walking a red carpet. She strutted in with that smile, you know the one. That I'm in control look, completely unaware she was about to serve the internet a 5-course scandal buffet. And let me tell you, the moment this interview dropped, the internet didn't just sip, it chugged. Threads, essays, think pieces, everyone suddenly had a PhD in Meghanology. Because this wasn't just a media misstep, this was one of those 3 a.m. why did I do that moments. Meghan thought she was crafting her grand rebrand. Soft light, poetic quotes, linen dresses that whisper, I'm healed now, the whole I'm not bitter, I'm elevated vibe, but instead, she delivered a masterclass in public relations disaster. Even veteran publicists probably dropped their lattes and whispered, Lord have mercy. And let's be clear, Harper's Bazaar didn't play nice. Oh no, they played smart. Some might even say they set a trap, a glittering, well-lit trap, and Meghan walked right into it wearing designer heels. The headline alone was a punch to the crown. Meghan Markle's interview may cost her royal title. People gasped. Again? Because every few months, tabloids pretend Buckingham Palace is about to revoke her Duchess card. But this time, the chaos felt earned, because Meghan practically handed her critics a golden gift basket. The real scandal wasn't even what she said. It's what she thought she could get away with. Harper's casually slipped in a detail that sent eyebrows flying. Apparently, Meghan has her staff introduce her as the Duchess of Sussex, not at a gala, not at the Met Ball, but at private New York apartments. Yes, someone's living room. You know, where normal people just say, this is Meghan. But no, our Duchess wants the royal drumroll. Somewhere across the Atlantic, the monarchy probably sighed and muttered, not again. And here's the kicker. She didn't even deny it, didn't soften it. She embraced it, like it's perfectly normal to have someone announce you like a queen at a sofa sit-down. Not the Met Gala, not a state banquet, just a friend's Manhattan apartment. The internet read that and screamed, she's in her royal cosplay era, because nothing says humility like needing a script before saying hello, and then, oh Harry, poor Harry. The article painted another one of those painfully awkward PDA moments, you know the ones, where he looks like he's clinging for dear life and she's posing for the camera like she's in a perfume ad. Their energy, it's like two people starring in two different movies, in the same room. Harry gives Lost, Meghan gives Still Rolling. Harper's captured that contrast without breaking a sweat. You could almost feel the editors grinning because, without trying, they revealed every crack she's tried to hide. Meghan's brand runs on control, curation, and narrative. But this was raw. This was the kind of honesty she never meant to release. And the worst part? It didn't come from a tabloid she could blame, it came from a friend, Harper's Bazaar, the safe space she thought she could trust. Meghan's usually strategic, a chess player when it comes to PR moves. But this was checkers played blindfolded. Announcing yourself as a duchess at private parties, it doesn't scream royal, it screams desperate. It's like she's trying to remind people of a title she voluntarily walked away from. She still thinks America sees her as the icon of modern royalty, but people are tired. Tired of the statements, the photo ops, the self-pity PR speeches about privacy, followed by yet another exclusive interview. Harper's Bazaar knew it too. They leaned right into that irony, highlighting the exact version of Meghan she tries to bury, the woman who claims freedom but can't let go of the crown. And there's Harry, standing in the background, looking like he's asking himself how he ended up as a supporting character in a brand he never signed up for. That awkward PDA moment? That wasn't just a photo, it was symbolism. Meghan posing for validation, Harry searching for oxygen, two different stories in one frame, and now everyone's asking, did Harper's Bazaar betray her? Or did Meghan just underestimate how transparent she's become? Honestly, probably both. The magazine wanted clicks and chaos. She wanted admiration and control. Instead, they handed her a mirror. A big, brightly lit mirror showing every flaw in high definition. And now, the backlash is spreading like Wi-Fi in a coffee shop. People are calling it her epic own. She didn't have to say anything offensive, just act royal in a Manhattan rental. It fed every criticism she's been dodging since day one. You know the internet's merciless, and Meghan's already trending for all the wrong reasons. She'll try to spin it, say the magazine misrepresented her, that the quotes were taken out of context. But come on. The internet has decided, and once it locks onto a narrative, no PR team on earth can fix it. So, was this betrayal? Maybe, but more than that, it was a reality check. A mirror moment she couldn't Photoshop away. And Harper's Bazaar? They're probably clinking coffee cups in their office right now, laughing at how easily she walked into the mess she thought she'd outsmart. They didn't have to be cruel, just clever. Because let's be honest, no major magazine was dying to feature Meghan out of love and respect. They wanted impact, shock, that headline energy that breaks the internet, and Meghan gave them exactly what they wanted on a silver platter with a monogrammed napkin. She probably walked in thinking, this is my comeback, my moment, my graceful rebirth. But Harper's Bazaar wasn't interested in redemption. They wanted ratings, drama, clicks. They knew exactly what they were doing, and Meghan made it too easy. It's like watching someone walk onto a trap door while smiling for the camera. And here's where the whole story flips from oops to oh no she didn't. Because let's be honest, Harper's Bazaar didn't make Meghan look bad. They just handed her a microphone and let her be herself. And oh boy, did she deliver. You can practically picture that editorial boardroom, the writers glancing at each other, half smiling, thinking, did she just say that out loud? They didn't need to manipulate a word. They didn't have to exaggerate or twist anything. Meghan did all the heavy lifting. They just hit record, nodded politely, and let her talk. See, that's the genius of it. They knew her pattern, her need to control the narrative, to sound royal yet relatable, humble yet superior. It's the same script every time. I've been misunderstood. I've been mistreated. I'm still magnificent. But this time, there was no palace, no sympathetic camera filter, no "we were silenced" Netflix lighting. Just her own words, raw and revealing. And when she started talking about her staff introducing her as the Duchess of Sussex at private events, the editors didn't blink. They didn't interrupt. They just took notes, probably suppressing laughter, knowing full well the internet would feast on it. Because come on, who does that? Who needs a royal title at someone's sofa party? It's not Buckingham Palace, it's Becky's apartment in Manhattan, and the world read that line and said, "Oh sweetie, this isn't royal, it's cringe." And poor Harry. Every time Meghan opens her mouth, he ends up dragged into it like emotional collateral. That Harper's Bazaar description of their awkward affection wasn't even cruel, it was surgical. They painted the picture without insults. Meghan perfectly poised, Harry desperately holding on, like he's trying to survive the PR turbulence. It was subtle, but devastating. Even her fans read that part and winced, because that wasn't a power couple moment, it was a public unraveling. What makes this whole situation worse is that Meghan can't claim sabotage this time. No sneaky paparazzi, no royal leaks, no anonymous palace sources. This was her own doing. She walked into a friendly interview, turned on the charm, and handed over the most unflattering portrait of herself imaginable. And Harper's Bazaar? They didn't even have to play dirty. They kept it factual, professional, and painfully honest, which, ironically, is the most brutal kind of exposure there is. Behind the scenes, you just know the editors were smirking. The laughter wasn't mean, it was that quiet, knowing amusement of people who just watched a PR master trip on her own heels. They didn't have to create the storm, Meghan was the storm. Because here's the truth, major publications don't feature Meghan to uplift her anymore. That phase is long gone. They feature her because she sells chaos. She generates outrage, fascination, sympathy, and exhaustion all at once. She's a guaranteed headline machine, a one-woman trending topic. They don't see her as an icon. They see her as an algorithm. When Harper's Bazaar pitched this feature, they weren't thinking, let's empower Meghan. They were thinking, let's light the internet on fire. And Meghan? She fell right into it, confident as ever. She thought she was rewriting her image, showing her evolved, healed self. But Harper's was just sitting there, letting her hand them viral material. Every polished word, every self-praising sentence, it all read as delusion wrapped in designer silk. Because the truth is, no one needed to make Meghan look out of touch, she did it herself. When you live in luxury, demand privacy, and then complain about your struggles in glossy spreads, people stop buying the fairy tale. She keeps trying to play the misunderstood heroine, but to everyone else, it's starting to look like a rerun. The same tears, the same monologues, the same "I was silenced" narrative. Harper's Bazaar didn't edit that image. They exposed it. They let her speak freely, and she proved every critic right. And you can almost hear the internet laughing, not cruelly, just collectively sighing. Like, oh, Meghan, not again. If she had come into that interview grounded, self-aware, a little less performative, she could have flipped the story. She could have shown growth. But no. She went royal mode. The titles, the gestures, the speeches, it was all there. The Hollywood fantasy version of monarchy. And that's why Harper's laughter echoed louder. They've seen every celebrity ego under the sun. But Meghan? She's in a league of her own. Dramatic, self-sabotaging, and irresistibly newsworthy. Because no matter how much she says she hates media attention, she keeps walking straight toward it. She's addicted to the spotlight she claims destroyed her. And deep down, that's what makes this story sting. Because Harper's didn't betray her, they just gave her rope. And she tied the knot herself. People are starting to notice the pattern. Every few months, another interview, another headline, another controversy. She keeps saying she wants to move on, but her actions scream otherwise. She's chasing relevance, clinging to a title that doesn't carry the power it once did. And while she's busy trying to stay royal in America, Britain's already moved on. The palace doesn't flinch anymore. They've mastered silence while she's mastered oversharing. By the end of that article, the message was clear. Meghan Markle isn't the rebel duchess anymore. She's the cautionary tale. Harper's Bazaar didn't destroy her image, they just published what was already cracked. And as their editors probably sat back, sipping coffee, watching the online wildfire grow, you can bet there were chuckles not out of malice, but sheer disbelief. Because they didn't have to lift a finger to make her headline worthy. She did all the work for them. She walked into that interview thinking she was controlling the narrative, but by the time it hit print, she was the narrative, and not in the way she hoped. Because at the end of the day, Meghan doesn't need enemies. She's her own worst PR nightmare. And Harper's Bazaar? They just had front row seats to